Hey, what's up everybody? Today I'm making another UOS Ultra market update video. Overall, the markets are in a much better place today than they were previously. Things are looking a bit more optimistic than they were a couple days ago. And so I thought it'd be a good time to make another Ultra video. We are seeing a few pretty positive things in the price action and in the indicators. So I'll be going over all that, and then at the end I'll be talking about some major resistance levels that we have to watch out for if we break out of the current range that we're trading in. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that for 4 consecutive weeks we were able to hold this 97 cent level as support, which is a very important level, and even though we broke down, you can see there was plenty of buying pressure from these wicks trying to keep the price up, and eventually buyers were able to push us back above this crucial level, which happens to be the previous all-time high. And I have been talking about UOS potentially coming down to retest this level for a little while now, because if you look back in UOS's history, you can see that previously when UOS has broken above its previous all-time high and it goes on to make a new all-time high, it has come back down to retest the prior all-time highs before. And in this case, once it retested the previous all-time high, it went on, traded range bound for a little bit, and then just continued its uptrend. And so I thought it was very possible that when we were struggling to hold support up in this area, that we would end up coming back down to retest this old all-time high. And we did do that. We broke well below this level for a little bit, but as you can see with these 4 weekly candles, once we got back above this level, we've been holding it as very strong support. And the last time that we saw something like this occur, a retest of previous all-time highs, once we kind of recovered and we got back up to the previous levels of support, which were at the time acting as resistance, we traded sort of sideways for about 56 days before we went on to retest the previous all-time highs. And granted, this was largely in part due to Bitcoin and the rest of the market. This dip was during May, so that was obviously dragged down by the market. But UOS actually recovered a lot quicker than most other things. It was pretty much back up to the levels that it was trading in April, about 4 weeks after the initial dip, when most other things didn't begin to bottom and turn around until late July, early August, if I remember correctly. Yeah, about mid-July, early August is when things really started turning around for Bitcoin and everything else. So obviously, whatever happens next is going to largely depend on Bitcoin and the rest of the market, but things are actually looking pretty optimistic for the market right now. You know, Bitcoin went up about 15% yesterday, I believe. Obviously, we're not out of the woods yet, but things are looking much better than they were a few days ago. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I believe that once Ultra UOS gets its ecosystem and everything that it's building rolled out, it definitely has the potential to continue growing despite what the rest of the market's doing. And from what I'm hearing, we should get a decent portion of that rolled out at some point this year. Now, looking at Market Cipher B, we did just get a weekly green dot here, and the weekly money flow is looking really good. It really hasn't slowed down at all. It's sort of stayed up in this area for, almost a year at this point. The weekly money flow is looking really good, and we did just put in a bottom, so typically these weekly green dots lead to pretty substantial moves in the price action. The last two resulted in 3 to 400% moves. Looking at the daily time frame, the money flow on the daily time frame is looking pretty good. It looks like it actually wants to cross up into the positive pretty soon here. And while we didn't get any daily bullish divergences during this dip, we did actually print a hidden bullish divergence on the daily time frame, because this momentum wave dropped further down than this one back here, but we put in a higher low, so can say we printed a hidden bullish div here. And this current daily momentum wave looks like it definitely has strength to continue. You can see it is still widening out. The white portion's getting wider, which shows that it definitely has strength to continue. And if this daily momentum wave does continue, I think we have the potential to break out of this current resistance that we are holding at the top of this range that we're trading in. Now, currently, the 4-hour momentum wave is topping out as we are finding resistance at this level, but I don't think that's too discouraging because overall, the momentum is increasing to the upside on the bottom, and the money flow on the 4-hour has been steadily increasing since we began putting in these bottoms. So I think because we are seeing money flow build up, we're seeing momentum build up, we may be able to break out of this range soon. And we did actually print a 4-hour bullish divergence here. And this actually looks really good short term because you can see we had a nice anchor wave here, followed by a bunch of trigger waves all increasing in the positive direction. So I think we may see some pretty positive price action in the short term. Now, time to talk about some significant resistance levels that we have to look out for. The first one's probably going to be right here around 137. You can see on the daily time frame we've held strong support and resistance on this level, plus it was this peak right over here before we had a little correction. And this is right around the area that we're holding resistance at right now. So once we get above this level, hopefully we're able to hold it before continuing upwards. The next resistance area is going to be between $1.44 and $1.41, and it's going to be these previous highs and the 0.382 fib level from the all-time highs to this recent bottom. The next resistance level is actually just above this level. It's between $1.50 and $1.47, and that is because we have a golden pocket of a more short-term fib. Actually, this top right around 191, we actually had 3 wicks off this level, and we have a golden pocket sitting right here along with the highest volume node of this previous range up here. Next is going to be about $1.66 to $1.61, and it's going to be the 0.5 of the larger fib and the 0.786 of the more local one. Next, I'd say right around 173, because looking at all this price action, we did have lots of wicks above this level, but not a lot of candle bodies closed above this level, so I think this is going to be pretty strong resistance. And then after that, we have the golden pocket of the larger fib with all of these wicks bouncing off this level as well, which, by the way, is $1.88 to $1.82. And also, we had some support and resistance off this level as well with some of these wicks over here. So, overall, I think because the market is looking pretty good at the moment, and because UOS is showing short-term potential with the daily time frame and the 4-hour, I think we may be able to make a move up to break out of this current range that we're in and maybe come up to test some of these resistances. I wouldn't expect too crazy of price action just yet. I think it may take us a while before we're able to work back up towards all-time highs again, but at least for the time being, things are looking pretty positive. It seems like we are establishing an uptrend rather than this downtrend that we have been in since November. But what I am most optimistic about is everything that is going to happen with the Ultra ecosystem this year, and actually getting to try out what they're creating and use it ourselves. Alright everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I really appreciate all of the support, and I will see you all on Thursday for my next video.